Okay. No countdown today, but it is still Metal Monday, so we'll start with the music like this. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Morning Night Live preview of the show, where we're not going to talk about that thing up there. Yeah, we are. So what's odd right now, and you'll see this as we get into the show, apparently the Biden administration is bracing for what we would normally call a recession, except they don't want to call it a recession. And so I'm not going to talk about, I'm going to whisper recession. Give them better days. A nickel for whoever gets that one. Anyway, that's what it's going to be about today. And then a couple other things if I get to them. But it's just the shenanigans, because they don't want to admit their failures. And that's just how it is. Anyway, time to play the intro. Play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight.
Yes! Let's bring it on and stop the music. Oh, I gotta change this real quick. Hang on. I almost forgot. I gotta change. There is no superstar spots of the day yet. So let's fix that right now before somebody actually tries to be that. There we go. Hello. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we try not to dwell on bad news, but today we kind of will. Anyway, it's Monday, the 25th of July, 2022, and it's also Metal Monday. So, we're going to try to have some fun. Well, not a whole lot, because, and we'll see what's happening in the news like we always do. We'll talk about a topic here and there that I care about and hopefully you care about too. And then we'll mosey on our way for the rest of this lovely Monday morning. I hope you are planning on having a good one. Anyway, so welcome to the show. Let's say good morning, everybody, so we can get this shit going. And I do, everything's working. Yes, looks like it. All right. So anyway, first in chat today is our friend Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell for being here first. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning, Tyranius Alexandrius, the Invictus Soul, says yo, a.k.a. Tyre Alexander. Also, good morning, Simon Wolfwood, Saptors Wolf, Trippy Liberties in the Hizzo, Gunfang61, our Discord administrator. Awesome. Rotten Corpses in the house. Somnambule Nation. Maddie's here. Also, good morning, Judaphine. What's up? Attack Alpaca. This is Kyle. And Rachel Madhouse Dildo. I just thought I'd be very, very articulate when I say Rachel Madhouse Dildo. I don't know why. Also, good morning, Mad Squatch. What's happening? Sean DW's in the Hizzo. Also, good morning to Mike Savage. Blarg. Tarai Deos is here. Nice to see you, my dear. I didn't do that on purpose, but I don't own a porpoise. That didn't work either. Good morning, also. Oh, that's everybody. Everybody's here right now. Well, there you go. That's all I needed to say. Hello, everybody. Lots of people in the room. Hit the like button if you like what we do during the show. Share the stream before, during, after the stream. And if you want to sponsor the show, right there, pdognight.live. That's the Streamlabs prioritized chat place to go. Kind of like a super chat, but it's prioritized. You don't give 30% to Susan. But, wait, over there somewhere you can hit the YouTube one too if you want to. I don't care. I appreciate everything. Good morning, Tyler F. And if you're watching today on a replay and you hear or see something, you go, hey, I gotta say something about that. Just put that little comment in the comment section like you do sometimes, and I may even try to interact. I try to interact with comments occasionally. I read them. I just don't interact with all of them. Sometimes I just give a little heart. I put a heart on it. I say, what? I didn't mean to say it that way, but you know. Anyway, so anyway, I'm glad you all are here. So let's get into the news. Now, the one thing that I wanted to talk about before I talked about the condition, the economic condition that we shall not be named during the. Oh, I heard a new nickname for Joe Biden, by the way. I almost forgot about this. What was it? It was Sponge Brain Shit Pants. I thought that was hilarious. DJ Sefton, my favorite aggregator, came up with that one. Sponge Brain Shit Pants. It was President Sponge Brain Shit Pants, and I thought that was hilarious. I do have my cup of coffee because I have to, because I'm coughing like a fool today. Anyway, hello, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Let's and Keenan's in the house. I almost forgot Keenan. I did not mean to forget you there, Keenan. So now there's something in the news that it should be frightening to everybody, and I'm pretty sure that you're all going to run out and start stocking up on staple goods, and you'll be out there making sure that you stay out of the air because air will kill you, and because apparently the World Health Organization, we have another global health emergency. Did you hear that? We just found out this week. We got a new global health emergency known as I don't even know if we're allowed to say it on YouTube, because everything you get to everything on YouTube and Twitter and stuff, you just never know if you can talk about shit. But I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to take my chances. The World Health Organization has declared monkeypox a global health emergency as cases surge. This is the Twitter version of this story. And it says an emergency committee from the World Health Organization, the WHO, has named the monkeypox outbreak currently spreading in non-endemic countries a public health emergency of international concern. Now, I'm not sure 100% if that means, public health emergency of international concern. Okay, yes. With over 16,000 cases found in 75 countries, including 5 deaths. In a statement, WHO Director Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said the WHO's assessment is that the risk of monkeypox is moderate globally and in all regions except the European region, where we assess the risk as high. In the European region, it's high? Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Now, as people, let's see what the comments along this. This is the the Twitter trending topics. So let's see how they play this in the trending topics. Someone named Maria Van Kerkhove says, reminder for clinicians, WHO's clinical platform for monkeypox is available to share data for better understanding of the natural history of monkeypox, its clinical features, risk factors for severe disease, and outcomes remain incomplete. So they have a little primer there you can click on. Wales Online Monkeypox World Health Organization outlines most at-risk groups. Let's watch this one. Let's read this one. The most at-risk groups. Let's see how they're playing this in Wales. The disease was first found in a monkey before later being identified in a child in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The World Health Organization, The World Health Organization has outlined the groups of people most likely to catch monkeypox. What? Oh, I don't care about it. Shut up. Groups most likely to catch monkeypox, the disease, which was first discovered in the 1950s, has seen a resurgence in recent months. WHO bosses say the disease was originally discovered in a monkey, hence the name, only later to be discovered in a child in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 1970. Now it is spreading across the globe, prompting the organization to declare the spread a health emergency. Dr. Rosamund Lewis, technical lead for monkeypox at the WHO. I wish this screen would stop jumping around. It's driving me nuts! Said, what's different now is that we're seeing cases in other countries that don't normally have monkeypox. This is very unusual. We've had the occasional outbreak or a single case detected in a traveler from West Africa, but in fact, we've never seen an outbreak like this before. Dr. Lewis explained monkeypox causes rash, meaning if you are caring for someone with the disease, you should take care of their skin and any symptoms such as pain and itchiness. She explained there's a vaccine for people who've been in touch with someone who has had monkeypox. Now, who is at risk for catching monkeypox and how can we protect them? Keep it clean in the chat, please. Dawg Thrapple. Hello, Scribe Light. Hello, my friend. It's very good to see you. Dawg Thrapple. Anyway, Dr. Lewis said the monkeypox spreads from close face-to-face, skin-to-skin contact. However, there may be new ways of spreading it in the current climate. Now, what the hell does that mean? Is that due to climate change? I don't know. Currently, she says, men who have sex with men are being affected the most in the outbreak. This can also impact anyone who may be in contact with an infected person, such as family members and close friends. Dr. Lewis added, because the virus does spread through close contact and person-to-person contact, it does mean that in the healthcare setting, a health worker who doesn't know that they're dealing with and may not have the right personal protective equipment may inadvertently be exposed. We also want to be sure that health workers have the message that if you're seeing someone who has a rash, it is important to be aware that this virus is newly spreading in different population groups. So far, men who have sex with men and healthcare workers. Dr. Lewis says anyone treating someone with an undiagnosed rash should make sure that they are wearing correct protective equipment, while anyone with a rash may also want to keep those close to them safe without protective equipment. And then for whatever reason, this little circle thing keeps going. I'm assuming there's more article, but I'm not going to continue anyway because I want to read what other people are saying. So far, mostly men who have sex with men and healthcare workers. Although in the United States, I think there's roughly, I hear this morning, I think there's roughly 1,600 cases. I think 96 or 97% of them are the most common group that gets them, although 2 children have also gotten it, which makes me concerned about a number of factors with those children. Anyway, thank you, Selected Boy, for sponsoring this show. You are the first sponsor today, and I appreciate the $5 sent via YouTube Super Chat, who says, I'd rather listen to the band than the global gremlins posing as doctors. Yes, I agree. I completely agree. You even get a little party horn for that one because, you know. Resist we much. Anyway, thank you, Selected Boy, for sponsoring the show. You are a great American. Okay. And good morning, H.P. Lovecraft. Nice to have you here. Anyway, The Economist, the alert will draw attention to how monkeypox vaccines are being distributed around the world. If countries tussling for stupid 19 jabs in the early days of the pandemic is a guide, that will be the WHO's toughest job. Well, you know, apparently, even if you read the last article or heard what I said in the last article, people who have the monkeypox vaccine are usually people who come into contact with the monkeypox thing. Hello, Zombie Teddy. I don't know. This is one of those vaccines that you need to just do widespread. Now, the Biden administration has procured 5 million doses of monkeypox vaccine. I would have to say that I am in a very low risk group. And I'm definitely not going to get a monkeypox vaccine. Anyway, just thought to say so because, not that it's necessary for me to project my sexuality on anyone else, but very low chances. Let's see. WHO Director Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has warned of the dangers of discriminating against the community in which the monkeypox outbreak is concentrated, saying stigma and discrimination can be as dangerous as any virus. Well, I disagree. Absolutely disagree. The virus may be more dangerous because discrimination doesn't necessarily going to kill you, but the virus, although, here's the thing. So they say there's was it 16,000 deaths in the United States? Well, how many up here? It said 16,000 cases. There's 1,600 cases in the United States, but 16,000 cases, 75 countries, 5 deaths. Anyone got a calculator? Someone give me a percentage on that one. Anyway, thank you, GunFox61, for sponsoring the show through Streamlabs. And GunFox61, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. GunFox says, oh, it's Metal Monday. I forgot to do Metal Monday for Selected Boy. Well, let me go back. Here, let's do this. This is for Selected Boy. Maybe. Selected Boy says, I'd rather listen to the band than the global gremlins posing as doctors. We've already said it, but I thought I'd do a little Metal Monday version. And GunFox61 says, Marty, I'm throwing more news in the Discord server. Notice the Discord server nor the Dawg Knight Show is not responsible for any ranting blood loss from blood shooting out of your eyes, ears, or other locations, breaking item, etc., etc. You have been warned. Thank you, GunFox61, for sponsoring the show. You are fantastic. Okay, I can turn that shit down. Yes. Sometimes the news in the server sometimes does cause bloodletting from my eyeballs and ear sockets and other orifices. And so every once in a while. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian. Nice to see you. 0.3%. Oh, 0.03%. Yes, it's far less than 1%. 5 deaths out of 16,000. It's probably 003, isn't it? Here, I have a calculator. Why didn't I? Hello, Legit Low Talker. And Chicago Mike are in the house. Nice to see you. Let's see here. Let's get my calculator out. You got, that's not a clock. That's a clock. Clear. All clear. What's this? What did I say? 5 divided by 16,000 is 0.03125%. You were right on. You're spot on. Advocatus Diabli. That's very, very astute of you. Quick with the calculator and with the wits. Good morning. Did I say good morning to Chicago Mike? Well, I am now. Hello, Chicago Mike. Shall we continue? Let's see. Anything else? So anyway, but boy, they're putting that shit in the news a lot, and I'm sure the WHO having a world health emergency for 16,000 cases across 70 countries, and a very specific population that it's currently affecting. Whew, kind of sounds like another big disease with a little name. Anyway, I don't know why I clicked that so soon. Anyway, next, let's talk about what I wanted to talk about today. There's more. By the way, this tab here, there'll be a link if you want to read all these articles on monkeypox. They are, boy, everyone's talking about it, though. It's a big damn deal. Of course, we just had a or in. I don't know if they still are calling it a pandemic or not, or they're just starting to say that it's endemic or whatever. But they certainly want to get ahead of this new global health emergency that is very targeted by population. Anyway, let's talk about what I really want to talk about today and the bulk of the show, at least the bulk of this next part of the show, and that would be recession. Recession, session. Give me better days, give me better days. Now that song's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Anyway, the Biden administration is bracing for a tsunami of bad economic news next week. Politico calls the coming avalanche of bad economic news a Category 5 storm. Indeed, the Biden administration may want to dig a hole and hide, while President, what do I call him? President Sponge Brain Shitty Pants or something like that. Yeah, President Sponge Brain Shit Your Pants. Anyway, digs a hole and hides while he goes into his summer home in Delaware, given the depressing numbers that will come out of Washington this coming week. Consumer confidence numbers, which currently stink, hit on Tuesday. A Federal Reserve meeting and decision on interest rates, coupled with a press conference from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, follows up on Wednesday. The first reading on second quarter economic growth drops on Thursday, and the latest numbers on our vexing run of historically high consumer price inflation close out the monster run of data on Friday. In a note to clients today, analysts at Deutsche Bank suggest the flood of information will leave you breathless and your portfolio probably dropping a little bit. Here, now, what's interesting is actually, here's a prediction. Because the fact that gas prices have come down somewhat, although there's no corresponding drop in anything else, but there will be a slight reduction in the inflation rate that we report from last month, because last month, what did they say? It was 9.3% or something like that. And what's going to happen is it's going to be in the either like 9.1 or 8.9 or whatever, because the price of gas has gone down. But and they're going to tout that as them doing something wonderful, which in fact, it really just means it's still shitty, but they're going to try it. But anyway, for the White House, hope springs eternal. The administration has been touting the dropping price of gasoline this month as if they're reading the entrails of a newt and discovering that that prosperity is just around the corner, as Herbert Hoover claimed right before the bottom dropped out of the economy. But what are those newt entrails really telling us? Hello, nobody, not me. Nice to see you back. Maybe you've been here, but I just haven't seen you in a while in the chat. You may have been lurking. That's okay. And anyone else who just shows occasionally, I'm happy when you show occasionally. You make it here once in a while. That's cool if you can, when you can, and all that stuff. Anyway, what matters now, both politically and economically, is the direction things are headed. Are we tipping toward a significant and painful recession? Or does the recent decline in gas prices portend more relief to come for strapped consumers who have helped turn this into one of the most hated economies in recent history? Well, that's weird. The most hated economies in recent history? What the hell does that mean? We should know a lot more about the answers by this time next week. Yes, but I know that they're going to be very, very careful to try to not use the R word, and I don't mean retarded, I mean recession. Although the economy is kind of retarded. That's a whole, and I'm using that word in more I'm not using that in a psychology setting, so to speak. I mean, as in like, when you, like in music, for example, there's something called a retard. A retard means that the music is a gradual slowing of the tempo, right? Or like a retarder. When you put a bread in a retarder, it slows some kind of process and causes it to rise. Anyway, well, we're having a retarded economy. God. I just wonder if I'm going to get in trouble for that. Anyway, more importantly for the political future are the numbers coming out on Thursday. If the GDP is in negative growth territory, no amount of spin by the administration or Democrats will avoid the conclusion that the nation is officially in a recession, because the last quarter that they gave us numbers for, the GDP slowed. It was negative growth. Before I read this next section, thank you, GunFox61. Appreciate you for sponsoring the show again. It says, breaking news. Bobby Ferguson, who starred in the Dukes of Hazzard TV show, has passed away at age 78. Now, which Bobby Ferguson, who did he play? Hang on a sec. Let's look this up. Go to my DuckDuckGo. Bobby Ferguson. Bobby Faye Ferguson? Is that who we're talking about? Is that a she? Did she? What? She was she, Bobby Faye Ferguson. Let's see who she is. I don't recognize this person. Bobby Faye Ferguson, Space Cowboys, Remington Steel, Bermuda Triangle, but she was in the Dukes of Hazzard too, wasn't she? Is that who we're talking about? Why isn't it in this one? Is this the wrong person? Dallas, she was in Dallas, Fall Guy, Dukes of Hazzard. No, it's not Cooter. Cooter died a few years ago. That dude, the guy who played Cooter. She was in the Dukes of Hazzard? Who did she play in the Dukes of Hazzard? I thought I would know this. Where's the cast? Cast. I mean, I would. It's clearly not Catherine Bach. Top cast. Where's Bobby Faye Ferguson? She's way down here. Okay, hang on. I never realized Waylon Jennedy. He's taking the song. She's not even on the list here. Well, okay. Well, we're bummed that Bobby Faye Ferguson passed away, even though I'm not sure who she is. But thank you, GunFox61. You are a gentleman and a scholar. All right, back to this. The most politically radioactive number comes Thursday with the first look at gross domestic product growth in the second quarter of the year. It will likely show a decline in the size of the economy of around 1 or 2%. That will follow a first quarter decline of 1.6%. This isn't a lock. The numbers could surprise us and come in flat or even marginally higher, but it should go negative. As most economists expect, Republicans will race to declare that the Biden recession is now fully underway. In fact, they will probably scream it across cable television, social media, and campaign ads in a very closely contested 2022 contest. In other words, Republicans will pounce on that news because that's what political will tell you. Anyway, indeed, there are other factors to determine whether the nation is in a recession. Unemployment remains historically low for the time being, with job openings remaining plentiful. How long can Biden blame supply chain problems and Putin's price increase on anyone but himself? He has had 18 months to address these problems and has failed to do so. Biden will never take responsibility for inflation, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, so that nasty little word recession is coming up. She was a guest star for 5 shows. Okay, thank you, GunFox. I was not sure. But she has several other productions to her credit, if you look her up on IMDb. So now it's what's funny here is people in the Biden administration are very loath to acknowledge that we could possibly be in a recession, even if the GDP numbers come up negative on Thursday. So we're just going to take a look at a couple of people from the Biden administration talking about this. Now, this person here is somebody named, somebody from Team Biden. What's his name? Brian Deese, who is, Tom Elliott describes him as Biden's chief gaslighter. In terms of technical definition, 2 negative quarters of growth is not a recession. Now, that's fascinating. Let's remember those words. But here is our Brian Deese talking on This is CNN.
What will be comments from some saying 2 quarters of negative growth in a row, that's a recession.
Isn't that the definition?
Right, and certainly in terms of the technical definition, it's not a... Recession, the technical definition considers a much broader
Whoa,
spectrum
whoa, whoa, whoa,
of
whoa,
data
whoa,
points.
whoa, 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 whoa! What did he just say?
Definition, it's not a recession. The technical definition considers a right, and certainly in terms of the technical definition, it's not a recession. The technical definition considers a much broader spectrum of data points. But in practical terms, what matters to the American people is whether they have a little economic breathing room, they have more job opportunities, their wages are going up.
Do they?
That has been Joe Biden's focus.
Are they
since
going
coming
up
into
faster
office.
than inflation?
He has had a view
Wait, what is he talking about? Oh my God, I gotta hear this again. I just can't believe what I'm hearing from this guy. Here he goes again. Here's his answer.
Considers a much broader spectrum of data points. But in practical terms, what matters to the American people is whether they have a little economic breathing room, they have more job opportunities, their wages are going up. That has been Joe Biden's focus since coming into office. He has had a view of the economy that we need to look to build from the bottom up and middle out. And what that means is that typical working class people in this country have had trouble affording things for years. He is focused on building a strong, durable economic recovery here. We have real global challenges here in the short term. We've got to navigate our way through them, but we have to do so without giving up all our economic gains. That's going to be our focus, and I think that we need to train that focus on that rather than on sort of technical debates about backward-looking data.
So the consumer confidence numbers are going to come out as well, and consumer confidence has been...
It's just a technical debate. It's not about whether or not, it's just your wages are going up. Everyone's better off because Joe Biden's in office, because, there's just no inflation. It's just everything's better. And oh my God. Okay. So anyway, but I like that when he said, well, it's, technical definition of recession. We're coming back to that, I promise. Now, also Janet Yellen, what does she do now? She's like the Treasury Secretary or some shit like that, I think. And she's saying that the economy's not in a recession. Now, this is a little longer, but we're going to watch some of it until I can't hold my breakfast down anymore. So let's listen to Janet Yellen discussing this with Chuck Todd on Meet the Press.
Significant issue cited. So let's dig into it. Joining me now.
Let's dig into it, Chuck. I agree.
Welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Let me just start with this.
Hang on. Okay. Any Harry Potter fans in the chat? Just out of curiosity. Harry Potter fans? Who was the teacher in Harry Potter? She's kind of the way it was described. I said I didn't necessarily see the movies, but in the books Harry Potter, they describe there's a teacher something. And she was kind of a toady kind of woman. And this is what I picture her looking like this. Anyway, someone who's a fan may know. But yeah, she's a kind of a toady looking woman. Anyway, let's listen. Yes, Somnambule Nation. This is what I would think Professor Umbridge would look like. I don't know why she just absolutely makes me think of Professor Umbridge. Anyway.
Preparing for a recession. Should all Americans at home be preparing for for a recession that many people think now is likely?
Likely?
Well, look, the economy is slowing down. Last year, it grew very rapidly at about 5.5%. And that succeeded in putting people back.
Okay. The economy grew back very rapidly at 5.5%. Now, I wonder what the factors are that caused it to come back at 5.5%. Oh, wait, we shut half the country down. I can't imagine. Now, coming off. Okay, never mind. Oops, what did I do there? I don't want to do that. What am I doing? There's.
To work, who had lost their jobs.
Lost their jobs. Lost their jobs. What? Lost their jobs? You mean the jobs that got shut down during the pandemic? They didn't lose their jobs. You shut down. Well, you and even. And President Trump, too, the whole fucking bullshit, shutdown bullshit. And Trump's like, no, we need to bring this back because this is not, there's something wrong here. And a couple of states did. And kind of led the way as far as recovery went. And that 5%, a great part of that 5% of growth happened in a few states where they opened up early. Thank God for the Biden administration be kissing their asses. But anyway.
It is now extremely strong.
Oh, strong.
Even just during the last 3 months, net job gains averaged 375,000.
That's not even, that's anemic. Of course, when the unemployment's at 3%, that means, well, of course, let's see, how many people going back into the workforce? I don't know.
This is not an economy that's in recession.
It's not.
We're in a period of transition.
Oh,
in which
it's not recession, it's
growth is
transition.
Slowing, and that's necessary and appropriate.
Yes.
And
necessary and
we
appropriate.
need to be growing at a steady and sustainable pace.
And yet we're not.
So there is a slowdown, and
2 months and
businesses
2
can
quarters
see
of
that,
negative growth.
And that's
Definition
appropriate given that
of recession.
people now have jobs and we have a strong labor market.
Oh,
but you
a strong
don't
labor
see
market.
any
A lot
of
of
the signs now. A recession
A lot of
is
people
a
needing help
broad-based
signs.
contraction that affects many sectors of the economy. We just don't have that. Consumer spending remains solid. It's continuing
Consumer
to grow.
confidence is low.
Industrial output has grown in 5 of the 6
GDP is
most recent
declining.
months. Credit quality remains very strong. Household balance sheets are generally in good shape.
What?
But inflation is way too
I
high.
hate to break this to you, Janet. There's a lot of people in this country who are burning through their savings because it costs them $100 to fill their damn gas tank when it used to cost $47 or $35 or whatever. Give me a break.
And, the Fed is charged with putting in place policies that will bring inflation down.
Now, there is one thing that's happening right now is, you know how lumber went really high for a while there? The price of lumber is coming down. That's a good thing because that has to do with home building. Hello, Ballistic Wizard. And Annalyn. But that also is not a good thing because it seems like every time there's a big surge in prices of lumber and then that price in lumber suddenly starts dropping again. That's when we've had severe economic happenings that people do not like, aka the crash in 2008, the crash in 1929, and every crash in between the two. So I'm not sure if that's good. We're combining a recession with record inflation, with a sudden drop in certain commodities that are precursors to very bad things that happen in the future. It's not good. I don't know who this woman is. She must be just someone they pulled off the street.
And
Oh, wait a minute. Thank you to Ryan Dales for sponsoring the show. I should probably acknowledge you right now. And it is Metal Monday, so let's get some appropriate music. Thank you to Ryan Dales for dropping a 5 spot in the tip jar, halting people from working up in the world by threatening to raise minimum wage while paying billions to the Ukrainian government, plus California's regulations restricting out-of-state truckers. Also, climate change, more important than the plebes. All equals recession. Thank you to Ryan Dales. I was trying to do that dramatic ending and I forgot to hit the pause button on the next song. But anyway, yeah. I don't understand. And look, at some point it'll work itself out because we'll have a different president, at least in the next couple of years. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's see what else she has to say.
Expect them to be successful. The administration for its part, is supplementing those Fed policies with things we can do.
She was the one who, isn't she the one who said, I really, didn't, we didn't really anticipate this inflation at all.
By a record $1.5 trillion this year. Releases of gas from the Strategic Petroleum
Terrible
Reserve
idea. That was a
some
dumb
downward
fucking
pressure
idea.
on gas prices. We've seen gas prices just in recent weeks come down by about 50 cents. And
after going up over $2 a gallon.
And hopefully we will
or
pass
$3
a bill
almost at some
that
point.
Will lower prescription drug costs and
you like saying that too.
Current levels of
Come on, Chuck, ask a good question.
You seem pretty optimistic, sounds like, from that answer, that we're going to avoid a recession. But I want to throw in 2 data points that you didn't bring up.
Thank you, Chuck.
One was these reports on Friday about both in the Euro space and in the United States that we've seen some contraction of business activity. Throw in the uptick of unemployment, the weekly unemployment number there. Is that not the first sign of a coming recession?
Yes, it is, Chuck. Thank you for asking the question, but she'll say no.
Well, I would say that we're seeing a slowdown. We're likely to see some slowing of job creation, but I don't think that that's a recession. A recession is broad-based weakness in the economy. We're not seeing that now, and I absolutely don't think that's necessary. But look, there are also risks we have to appreciate. Inflation is high not just in the United States, but also in many of our neighbors in the UK, in Canada, in the Euro area.
That's because of us.
Central banks are addressing that. We have a war in Ukraine that
blame the war.
threatens
the Putin price hike.
potentially even higher oil prices than we're seeing.
I can't do it. Thank you, Select a Boy, for sponsoring the show. Who says with a 5 spot. Oh, I almost forgot the music. Here we go. Hang on. Angry and Dark. We're going Angry and Dark on this one. Thank you, Select a Boy, for sponsoring the show. $4.70 for a fucking gallon of milk. Yes, that's a sign the economy is growing. Motherfuckers. Okay, I embellished a little bit. Like, occasionally I do embellish on these super chats and priority chats via Streamlabs. But, that's just how it goes. Thank you, Select a Boy. I appreciate you. All right. He did say the whatever fuckers part that I added. So anyway, thank you, Select Boy. I appreciate you. All right. Do we want no? Anyway, so you get the point. She is going to avoid saying that this is a recession at all costs because, now look, I get it. Okay. The administration and every administration before it does not want to spook the people. And of course, so they want to try and at least come and minimize any bad news. They will maximize any good news. They will overemphasize things like the price of gas has come down 50 cents in the last 5 months. There's been 5 straight weeks of gas prices lowering. Of course, when they've had, record gas prices, and it comes down a little bit, and I filled my truck on Saturday, or no, was it Thursday morning, Friday morning? Friday morning, because I was going to go out of town, and I did go out of town, and I filled my truck, and I let it get down below a quarter of a tank of gas, and I filled my truck, and it was still $107 to fill my truck. And I was like, oh shit, this is not good, because it was 406 where I got it. I mean, that's pretty good compared to the rest of the country, but when you're getting 25 gallons at a time, it adds up pretty quick, and so there it is. So anyway, so now let's kind of focus on what other people are saying about recession. So I dug up recession over here on the Twitter machine, and the very first one on here I thought was pretty poignant. From someone named Natalie F. Daniel Shen. Says, these motherfuckers are seriously redefining what a recession is. We are in one right now.
Gotcha, bitch.
So here's the White House redefining what a recession is. What is a recession? While some maintain that 2 consecutive quarters of falling real GDP constitute a recession, which is pretty much the definition in every country in the world, that is neither the official definition nor the way economists evaluate the state of the business cycle. Instead, both official determinations of recessions and economists' assessment of economic activity are based on a holistic look at the data, including the labor market, consumer and business spending, industrial production, and incomes. Based on these data, it is unlikely that the decline in GDP in the first quarter of this year, even if followed by another GDP decline in the second quarter, indicates a recession. Oh, well, isn't that just perfect that they have a new definition? Because, let's see, bracing for impact, even if Thursday's GDP report shows a second consecutive quarter of negative growth, you won't hear the Biden administration using the R word. You mean retarded? Or no? Oh, no, they mean recession. So a lot of people are pointing that out. Let's see. Let's look through down here and see what else. When the vaccines fail to prevent infection, they redefine vaccination. When the economy fails to grow, they redefine recession. Yes, Thomas Massey, you are 100% correct. Let's see. Biden administration redefining recession in an effort to avoid a political backlash. A lot of people are noting the White House changing the definition of recession. Laughing my ass off. This is Cat Turd. Yes, I am quoting someone called Cat Turd. Well, you know what Cat Turd is. It's laughing my ass off. The basement dummies Fed is trying to change the definition of recession. Hate to tell them, we're already in one. Yes. Let's see. Live shot of the media this week trying to change the definition of the word recession. As you can see, the moving the goalpost beam here is, well, it stopped. Why did it freeze? Why did it stop? Hello, Brett Hayes. Okay, well, I have a computer glitch. Sorry about that. Let's see. Who else is talking about this? What the hell's going on here? Donald Trump Jr. says apparently the White House is changing the definition of recession this week so we can pretend we're not in one. Yes. Zero Hedge, it's not a recession until the White House gives economists on its payroll permission to declare it a recession. So true. Tim Young says, good morning to everyone except the Biden White House, who began pushing the new definition of recession last week in order to prepare to lie when data comes out showing that we're in a recession this week. So everyone is putting out that thing. We're about to, here's a good one. We're about to see just how much the media is over Biden. If they go along with the Biden administration's redefinition of what a recession is after 4 decades of holding it as 2 quarters of negative growth, the press is dead. And only propagandists remain. So anyway, everyone's talking about this redefinition that they were talking about. Katie Pavlich, good morning. We've been in a recession since at least July. Dishonest words spinning from the White House doesn't change consecutive and negative GDP. It also doesn't change the painful situation of everyday Americans caused by Biden's war on energy. And that's probably the biggest one, man. He's killing us with this, with all these regulations and shit, and then selling off part of the strategic oil reserve isn't going to help us at all because 5 million barrels have gone to China. Lots of people referring to this this change in the definition. The point of saying 2 + 2 = 5, because that's the party line, isn't to show people you believe it. The point is to show people you're willing to say it out loud, even though you don't. Obviously, you can't believe it. It's a pledge of loyalty in the form of an assertion. Yes. So lots of people have some things to say about our new definition of recession from the White House because they don't want to say the R word. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Cat Turd is great, but I still won't join Twitter even to follow him. Okay. Shall we move on? Well, first, let's do a little, what do you call it? A shill, because that's what I'm here for. Gotta pay the bills. Anyway, thank you for being here today. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please hit the like button. 42 people here and only 22 likes. What's wrong here? Well, there's a problem. Hit the like button. Share the stream before, during, and after the stream. That's the thing you can do that would help me most. Share the stream with your friends and family, especially Friday stream with Gabs. Did y'all enjoy having Gabs here Friday? I thought that was a great show. She's fantastic. By the way, if you click in the links in the description of last week's show, I have all of her information there. She's on right now this morning driving to Austin, Texas, because they're having the Texas Board of Education has open meetings, and so she's going to speak there later this morning regarding some of the bullshit that the schools are doing. And so hopefully if you want to help sponsor her doing that. In fact, instead of sponsoring me today, you can sponsor her. In fact, the donations I made from Friday, I gave a large portion of that to her to send her to help her pay for her expenses going to Austin. So just to let you know that. And is there anything else? If you want to sponsor the show, pdognight.live is the Streamlabs link where the prioritized chats come from, where a lot of people do here. And that's if you don't mind giving 30% of students, you can do YouTube Super Chats, Cash App, and Venmo are in the description down below. I don't know. There's no real messages with those two, but these Streamlabs 24 hours a day. Wait, Streamlabs 24 hours a day at pdognight.live. All right. Shall we continue? Let's see. What else do I have today? I was going to focus mostly just on the recession thing, but there is a couple, I had a couple humorous things open here. Where is it? Give me a moment. Oh, now, one more thing about the recession thing and the economy and all the things that President Sponge Brain Shit Pants, every time, Sponge Brain Shit Your Pants, President Sponge Brain Shit Your Pants. Is that what he said? Let me look this up. Let me hang on. He wrote it up here. I knew I had this still open. President Sponge Brain Shits Pants. Yeah, Sponge Brain Shits Pants. Anyway, there's some cracks in the Great Wall of the Biden protection scheme, and here there's one in an article in an Arizona paper or Arizona Central here, written by a Democrat. If this is written by a Democrat, oh no, this is John Gabriel. Anyway. If Democrats want to save their future, it's time to cut Biden loose. Now, this is interesting. Opinion: independents and moderate Republicans voted for Joe Biden and awaited a promised return to normalcy. That's not what they or Democrats got. John Gabriel's not a Democrat, but I know there's some Democrats who are starting to say, behind the scenes, we don't want this guy running again. Do you want him to run again? Oh, well, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm at a meeting. Anyway, facing mounting crises, feckless leadership, and a midterm meat grinder, Democrats need to make a decision. It will not be an easy one. It's time to cut Biden loose. The 2020 version of Joe Biden was an ideal antidote to Trumpism. Was it though? Really? Was it though? I'm not going to talk about... No, I can't even say it. I can't even say what's in my mind right now. Was it though? The former vice president was portrayed as a kindly grandpa, slightly goofy, but an old, reliable hand in the center of the Democratic Party. Pull the lever for Joe and you can get back to ignoring politics. No scandal of the day or late night tweet storms, just the bland guy you've seen on the news for 50 years. Independents and moderate Republicans voted for Biden and awaited the promised return to normalcy. That's not what they got. Biden's trip to the Middle East was a disaster. Scandals were placed with crises. Oh, I didn't even see this one. Biden fist bump with Saudi leader draws backlash. President Joe Biden's fist bump and greeting with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman drew strong criticism on Twitter on Friday. Biden said he's raised the 2018 murder of dissident Jamal Khashoggi during the meeting. Yeah, right. Anyway, scandals were replaced with crises. Everything from the deadly Afghanistan pullout to soaring immigration to a broken supply chain to Ukraine, not to mention the worst inflation in 4 decades. Every time a voter fills her tank or heads out for groceries, she's reminded of Biden's failure. Mean tweets were replaced by an increasing number of gaffes, misstatements, and troubling behavior by America's oldest president. During the campaign, it was passed off as Joe being Joe, but it keeps getting worse. Consider last week alone. On his recent trip to Israel, Biden promised to keep alive the truth and honor of the Holocaust. What? He apparently meant horror of the Holocaust, but was a dark opening to a doomed visit. When visiting East Jerusalem, he clumsily bashed allies in Israel and the UK, noting his Irish ancestry. Biden said, We have a long history of not fundamentally unlike the Palestinian people, with Great Britain and their attitude to our Irish Catholics over the years. Ha! That'll win you some friends. Hello, Aaron Meredith. He then jetted to Jeddah to meet Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, a man Biden promised to treat as a pariah. Instead, the two leaders fist bumped and the president begged for more oil, which we can produce at home. The Saudis shrugged. This made even late night talk shows crack jokes at Biden's failure. Oh my God! The late night talk shows joke about Joe Biden. Even Democrats wonder what the hell's going on. Back home on Wednesday, the president flew in his jumbo jet to Massachusetts to complain about climate change. I'm surprised it didn't snow. In a speech, he incorrectly claimed to have cancer during a childhood exposure to oil. Yes, he did. You had to put on your windshield. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Joe Biden speaking. Oh, that's one of my favorite songs. You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up with have cancer, and why for the longest time Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation, he said. Well, the White House quickly corrected the bizarre statement. He does not have cancer, thankfully, but not before Americans again asked, what on earth is wrong with Joe? These errors aren't due to a fucking stutter, you lying pieces of shit! I'm sorry, that doesn't say that exactly, but it's close. But something far more serious. Dementia. He's the dimensional one. It's spelled dimension. Dementia. No. These complaints used to come from the right, but in the past month, more and more Democrats are speaking out. Oh my goodness! Obama campaign chief David Axelrod warned again of a re-election run. Quote, the presidency is a monstrously taxing job, and the stark reality is the president would be closer to 90 than 80 at the end of his second term, and that would be a major issue, he told the New York Times. Ex-Clinton and Obama advisor Robert Reich, yes, the little gnome motherfucker who doesn't know shit, also pointed to Biden's age and reduced faculties. I don't think this reflects an ageist prejudice against those who have reached such wuthering heights, Wright wrote in The Guardian, so much as an understanding that people in their late 70s and 80s wither. Wither this motherfucker. Anyway, Jasmine Crockett, a Texas Democrat running for Congress, got right to the point. Democrats are like, what the hell's going on? She said, our country is completely falling apart. If Democrats want to preserve their future and if Democrats want to preserve their future, have to cut their party leader loose. That's a terrible sentence. If Democrats want to preserve their future, they have to cut their party leader loose sooner rather than later. 2 more years like this, and voters won't send them back to D.C. for a decade. Anyway, real quick, thank you. By the way, thank you, Gunfox61, dropping a big 10 in the tip jar, who says, Marty, oh, wait a minute, hang on. Gotta have the right proper music. It's Metal Monday. It's Metal Monday. There we go. Metal Monday. Gunfox61 with a 10 spot in the tip jar says, Marty, you think it's bad here in the States? Not counting California, a.k.a. the ass of America. Here's a bit of news. I'll open that. Yeah, it should open over there somewhere. We'll see what happens. It didn't do it. Anyway. It's supposed to be opening. And then, oh, there we go. Thank you, Cryptic. What the hell is going on with my computer? Good God. Good God, people. Hang on. What the fuck is going on here? And then thank you, Cryptic, with a big bullet in the tip jar. I better turn this down because I got a feeling this might be a joke. Cryptic says, oh, maybe not. As an American, it makes me so sad to see that nothing is made in the USA anymore. I just bought this new TV and it says, built in antenna. I don't even know where that is. Ah! Thank you, Cryptic. Built-in antenna. Yeah, I don't know where that is either. That's I think that's somewhere in the Caribbean. Anyway, thank you, Cryptic, for sponsoring the show. All right, let me turn this off. All right, let's move on. Let's see. And I had a couple of funnies here. Well, not funny, just cool stories. Here, Liz Cheney got dragged by some people on the internet, which is great because sometimes she looks like, never mind. Anyway, on Twitchy, there's just a humorous little blurb here. Cool story. Julie Kelly drops Liz Cheney for admitting they're avoiding anything that could actually debunk the January 6th Democrat-approved narrative. Brett Baer interviewed Liz Cheney on Sunday, and he did not win himself any friends in the process. Okay, so that's not entirely true. He earned himself some applause from the people who usually hate him and his outlet by interviewing the woman who's the same people have spent years hating until she decided she hated the same person they really hate the most. Just quite a sentence. And now they think she's some great patriot or something. Cheney on Fox to colleague Brett Baer. What we aren't going to do, Brett, is blame the Capitol Police, blame those in law enforcement for Donald Trump's armed mob that he sent to the Capitol. What? Did not send an armed mob to the Capitol. Anyway, no one has asked anyone to blame the police, but this is the January 6th committee lady, you know her? No one has asked anyone to blame the police, but there are lots and lots of unanswered questions about the Capitol Police from that day. Julie Kelly from American Greatness, who's done probably the most significant reporting on the January 6th committee from the right side of the aisle, she summed it up better than anyone else could. Here she says, very interesting confession. Translation, we're not investigating those primarily responsible for Capitol security, including Pelosi and Bowser, because it would bust the narrative and expose rampant police misconduct that day. Cool story, bro. We get it, Liz. You're not there to find out the truth. You're there to punish Trump and his supporters. You're there to make sure Americans feel the power of the government and will never challenge your authority again. Sorry, that sounds super dramatic, but That's what it feels like. A lot of people like, arm Bob my ass. Yes, agreed. She's just so sure of herself, not surprising given the company she keeps. A little of what's been presented in the Jan 6 televised crockumentary could be admitted in court. Yeah, this would get torn to shreds in any court of law. That's why there's probably not going to be a prosecution from the Justice Department, because they will look like idiots if they try to use any of the stuff from the January 6th committee. Hello, Richo. What's up, my friend from down under? And Cryptic, I did say, I appreciate the sponsorship, and also good morning. Jury made up its mind in advance. Well, the jury is the January 6th committee, who has no opposition. There's no opposing counsel. There's no opposition party in there. It's all the sycophants who hate Trump, and no one who would even try to defend him. So they just have a one-man show, and they put on a production, and they're putting it on primetime TV as much as they can. Anyway, so enough of that. Also, I found this one. I found this one a little bit interesting. At the University of Michigan, you know how they have a white coat ceremony at medical schools? Well, apparently the incoming medical students at the University of Michigan, several walked out of the ceremony because the keynote speaker just happens to be pro-life or anti-abortion, whichever you prefer. So here's the speaker here. And let's see if we can get the volume there. There we go. Unclick that. Okay, that didn't work. There we go. So she's about to give her speech, and all these little white coat people down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 25 or so who
quite honored to have been chosen as the
immediately walked out as she was introduced.
I'd like to extend a very
some other people are joining with them.
For this special day. Especially.
Okay, well, whatever. You know, people can have different opinions and not be disrespectful, but they couldn't do it. So that's it. That's how it is. And then finally, where'd the other one go? I had another one, but it's gone. I thought I had another one. Needed the same ones? Nope. Well, anyway. All right. I'm going to finish up today just with a couple articles that I think you should read. I'm not going to get into them too deep. But there's we were talking about a lot of this gender stuff on Friday with Gabs, and this article, it's a Substack article, so someone who just did some documenting of things, but the article itself is called The Messiah Complex, and I'll just get into the beginning of it, and then I do encourage you to read it. It'll be in the link in the description down below that I put all the, you click the one tab link, and it'll be a list of everything we did today. Hyperlinks to every article and whatnot. But I'll just get to the beginning of it. And there's a second article that I'm not going to get to, but Pediatrics, Gender Medicine, and the Moral Panic Over Suicide, talking about how the people who are the transgender activists, TRAs, trans rights activists, love to give you hyperbolic rhetoric about suicide in order to get, like, almost blackmail parents into going along with some of the shit that they talk about, not really telling the truth that most suicides in this area happen after transition, the suicide rate doesn't change after transition because it's not necessarily about their gender, it's about other things. And when they find out that this transition doesn't work, it's devastating to some of these kids. But that's not the one. That'll be in the links too. But this one I wanted you to just get the kind of the gist of, and then we'll call it a day. As there's no coexisting with evil like this. This ends when they lose. And it's about parents with inconvenient truths about trans. It's called PIT. As the parent of a transgender gender questioning child, I have done extensive research into the belief system of gender ideology and the current practice of medicalizing gender nonconforming children and young people. I've come across plenty of ideas and practices that are disturbing, so much that would previously have simply been unbelievable is now commonplace. The espousing of a ludicrous belief system in some sort of gendered soul as a justification for the sterilizing of children and the surgical modification of their bodies, exaggerating the risk of suicide to frighten parents into complying with medical and surgical transition, vilification of detransitioners, whose numbers are skyrocketing. There are over 36,000 on the detransition subreddit, and the number of and the number continues to grow. Denial of the obvious, rampant internet-mediated social contagion of gender distress. All of these things now seem to be an entrenched part of our culture. However, occasionally I encounter something so incredible it simply beggars belief. I have attempted to compile a list of the most unbelievable statements and actions by gender clinicians in order to show just how far off the rails the gender juggernaut has run. As a parent of gender-questioning kids, it sometimes feels like we are living in a nightmarish Twilight Zone or ludicrous Monty Python skit. It's really not at all funny, of course. It's just that, as the saying goes, you literally could not make this shit up. She said stuff, but I just thought I'd embellish. We parents do become tired of being accused of exaggerating, lying, or being bigots when we try to tell our stories of negligent or unethical clinician conduct in the care of kids. Hence, I've included here only instances where the clinician or institution involved is clearly identifiable, statements made by clinicians to the media or in public lectures, information from gender clinic or hospital websites, and the like. These people are quite happy to put this material out there for all to see, which is perhaps the most disturbing part of it all. Such a list is bound to be incomplete and sadly is sure to be out of date as soon as it's posted. Hence, I invite readers to add examples in the comment section below. These items are in no particular order. Decide for yourself which are the most unbelievable. I present this material looking through the lens of objective reality, not the lens of gender ideology, a belief system to which I do not subscribe. Hence, I describe females as women or girls and males as men or boys. I also avoid euphemisms such as top surgery, bottom surgery, or gender-affirming care, preferring language which describes the reality of the situation. For example, mastectomy or breast amputation, genital surgery, and opposite-sex hormones. You'll see how using reality-based language illustrates starkly how far beyond the pale this stuff really is. If you are familiar with the tenets of gender ideology and the medicalization of gender non-conforming children and young people, I suggest first having a look at some background material. A short sermon by a gender clinician on gender ideology can be viewed here. I'll open some of these links, but I'm not going to go to them. Note that as well as the quote fanciful gendered soul pronouncements, there are multiple false statements about the science in this sermon. Other eye-opening comments from this clinician can be viewed here and here. So they give some links to where else you can read this. Let me scroll down because she gives a warning though. By nature, some of this material is disturbing, graphic, and explicit. Discretion is advised, but do bear in mind that it is all freely available to any 10-year-old with access to a cell phone, which your kid can easily access in the playground if you do not allow them one. This material is all out there. I've merely gathered it all in one place to try to raise awareness among many adults who simply are unaware how bad the situation has gotten. And it's gotten pretty bad. I'm just telling you. Here's one. In the hospitals, a children's hospital in the U.S. state of Oregon where children can access gender-affirming drugs and surgeries from age 15, paid for by the state, without parental consent or knowledge, has information promoting the harmful practice of breast binding and genital tucking posted on its website. Furthermore, they advise that teens can obtain supplies to engage in these practices from an adult sex shop, which offers appointments before and after hours for younger shoppers. Oh, hey, the blue light special. A children's gender clinic in Canada promotes the medical transition on their website using child-friendly cartoon graphics. Oh, that's special. To outline the roadmap to permanent sterility and anorgasmia, which is the inability to get orgasms, and a host of other serious side effects. Needless to say, none of these negative outcomes are mentioned in the cutesy roadmap. Well, it's a cartoon. How can it be bad? And then there's a gender clinic in Australia. There's links to all these, by the way. Was quite happy to use the alarming figures regarding suicidality from a poor quality anonymous online survey rather than the more accurate and much lower figures from its own clinical audit in order to solicit donations from the public. Now, there's also a gender clinician who unbelievably has a background in developmental psychology, who believes that even pre-verbal children have an innate gender identity they just cannot tell us about it yet. She claims that a 2-year-old girl pulling her hair ornaments out or screaming but she must do it 3 times, not just once, or an infant boy unsnapping the fasteners on his onesie to make a dress are sending gender messages and are actually the opposite sex. She seems to have a particularly well-developed gender theology. She believes that gender is not just a spectrum, but a 4-dimensional web, and preaches about gender angels and gender ghosts. So children who can't even speak can tell you that you are treating them as the wrong gender, because the little boy unsnapping his onesie has any idea that he's wearing a onesie or what the fuck a dress is. Anyway, the same clinician has drawn comparison between giving puberty-blocking drugs to young children, which, when followed by opposite-sex hormones, leads to permanent sterility, to giving chemotherapy to children with cancer. It's just like that. It's just like that. You know, you can optionally get chemotherapy. Anyway, she justifies her stance based on the false claim that puberty blockers are life-saving because they prevent suicide. No. She goes on to admit that she is fully aware they cannot consent, but that they should be given the sterilizing drug regime anyway. She makes it quite clear that it is the children who are in charge of the decisions around these permanent medical interventions. And here's her. It's the children who are leading us. They're coming in and telling us, I'm no gender, or they're saying, identify as gender non-binary, or I'm a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm a unique gender. I'm transgender. I'm a rainbow kid. I'm boy-girl. I'm everything. Also, Pop-Tarts and weaponizing the courts. There's a clinician, when I say this clinician, every time I say this, that she has a link to each one of these. This clinician asserts that it is fine to remove the breasts of teenage girls on demand since, quote, if you want breasts at a later point in your life, you can go and get them, end quote. She conducted a survey which involved removing the breasts of girls as young as 13. The conclusion to the study opines, quote, professional guidelines and clinical practice should consider patients for chest surgery based on individual need rather than chronological age. In other words, the claim is that there should be no minimum age for elective cosmetic mastectomies. She also convinced an 8-year-old, happily gender non-conforming girl that she was really a boy. I just gave him the language, she said, by comparing her to a Pop-Tart that was in the wrong package. She also, in a book called article, When Children Say They're Transgender in the Atlantic, claims that mental health assessments are not needed for gender questioning kids, comparing them to people with diabetes and stating, I don't send someone to a therapist when I'm going to start them on insulin. This clinician, as well as she of the mystical gendered soul, are happy to state publicly that they utilize the courts to force parents to medically transition their children by alleging medical neglect, despite the fact that the procedures are irreversible and experimental. And this is a line from her. So it's not my first line to go to the court and get a pediatric patient what they need, but it is my second line, and I will do it. She will take you to court on your own kids to force you to get them some kind of medical procedure. That's optional. There's no precedent for legally compelling parents, but you can again work with the child protection team for medical neglect, for medically unnecessary surgeries. Interesting. I'm going to read the next section and then you can read the rest yourself, but it's crazy. Clothing and playmate preferences determine your sex, apparently. Another clinician, which she links to here, appears to believe that clothing and playmate preferences determine your sex. Note that the child being discussed here is actually a girl. This child has always been a boy, never worn a dress, always played with boys. He was so ready. His mates are starting puberty, and he's desperate to start puberty. She also believes that she can induce the puberty of the opposite sex in this child using artificial hormones, and that it is appropriate to sterilize her in the process. In actual fact, of course, she can do nothing of the sort. As explained in detail here, there's a link by endocrinologist Dr. Michael Laidlaw. There's a false claim that trans puberty can be initiated and that one can stop the unwanted sex's puberty and magically start and continue the puberty of the opposite sex. There is no such thing as trans puberty. And so she goes on and on. I mean, this article goes on different surgeons who are promoting this down here. It happens in giving examples in Australia, Canada. Some people talk using metaphysical physiology, which is shit, and several other examples. I highly encourage you to read the article, how insidious this has become. Real quick, thank you to Rye Dales for sponsoring the show again. I appreciate you. And find some music. Thank you to Rye Dales, dropping a deuce in the tip jar, who says, I am listening to the book, What is a Woman? There's a lot of disturbing ideas that were introduced. If the information that provided in this book is true, since has always had it, Dr. Jekyll to counter Mr. Hyde. We have seen this with Terror Gnome. I think that means Fauci. Yeah, I get really concerned. I'm going to just turn that music off for a second. I get really concerned that this particular administration with President Spongebrain Shitpants, President Puddinbrain, who's not really running the show, but his advisors are, and there's some trans activists in his advising team, clearly, because the term gender affirming care keeps coming up, and it's a practice that doesn't make sense, because they're not. You're not affirming someone's feelings. That's not what you're there to. You're there to find out if this is really something you feel, and or is this new wave of, the sudden onset gender dysphoria that is happening as every time a kid learns this new term and finds a way that the teacher will make them feel more special, or the parents will feel extra special because they have a gender non-conforming kid or whatever, is actually destroying people. It's destroying children. And this, like you said, 36,000 people in this detransitioning Reddit. When you go through this article, you can click these links. There's all kinds of stories. And I definitely encourage you to check them out. But the things these doctors, these clinicians, these activists are saying are not just nuts, but they're going to be dangerous to our society as we move forward. And so I know I don't know why I talk about this so much, maybe because I'm just worried about my grandchild. But it's insane. And we need to nip it in the bud somehow. So we need to get people to see how dangerous this is. And maybe someone will start listening. I don't know. People in power, maybe with this next Congress that's going to change over, we'll see get some people in some power that, because all of this shit's experimental. There's nothing real about this. Anyway, well, on that note, I'm out of time, so I got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. Just a reminder, Wednesday, my show will not be at the normal time. I'll figure it out. Lady Boomer is having surgery that morning, so I'm taking her in, and we'll be, I don't even know if I'll do a show Wednesday. It's possible. Yeah, rapid onset gender elective reversal. Oh, geez. Yeah. So anyway, Wednesday it'll probably be in the afternoon as she's recovering. And that's about it. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. 40 people and 29 likes. There's a whole bunch of people who haven't hit the like button yet. So do that before you go. Share the stream before, during, and after the stream. And you can sponsor the show 24 hours a day at pdognight.live. So that's it. I got to go. I'm out of here. Oops, I said it backwards. I'm P. Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P. Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P. Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.